So I keep getting asked what the 1% Club is all about. And I've had a little bit of an issue actually giving a clear and concise answer to that, because the 1% Club isn't a series of what that you'll be taught. It's not just like a list of things that we're going to go through. It's much more than that. So whilst I have given people, a little bit of an indication about what it is, that we'll be doing personal development. We're going to go, through the study of Sharia. We're going to do a little bit of energy work and martial arts and goal coaching, etc. People still want to know a little bit more information. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is something that I've learned from more than one person, and this is called the resource triangle. And I've learned this from different sources, as I said, and I found it to be extremely, extremely useful. Now, if we just put the word success within this resource triangle, in order for you to achieve success in anything, you need to have all of these three things. You need to have the proper motivation, you need to have the right resources or knowledge, and the correct timing. So, it doesn't matter how amazing your business idea is, if you don't have the proper timing, the thing might fail. When it comes to the stock exchange and buying and selling shares, that's very, very obvious. When it comes to other things like marriage, etc., it's also a really, really important factor, but it's only one of the three factors. The other factor is motivation. Is the person motivated enough, or are you motivated enough to achieve what it is that you need to achieve? And here, the motivation could either be carrot or stick, as the cliche goes. But that's really, really important. There is an exception to this, but it's beyond the scope of this video at the moment. And then the third thing, which is the resources and the knowledge required. So if someone has only one of these things, it's not enough for them to succeed. If someone has motivation and timing but doesn't have the resources or the knowledge, they're not going to do it. If they have the resources and the knowledge and the motivation, but they've got the timing wrong, again, things are going to, it's going to fail. They're not going to succeed. And so these three things together, okay, are really, really important. And this is the kind of the prism through which I'm going to be running the 1% Club. Every time we run it, because there's going to be different people there, I'm going to be looking at what resources and knowledge they have and whether they've got the correct motivation, and then I'm going to be teaching about timing. Now, most people, very few people are born with resources and knowledge and timing. You'll find that a lot of people, they'll get a really good thought, they'll be motivated to do something, but there's a huge lag between the thought or the decision and then the implementation of what it is that they've just decided to do. And that's where the monsters hide. The monsters hide in the lag, in that time between, decision and action. And so timing is kind of a state as well as as other things, and so therefore it does in some instances fall under resources, because it's a state of mind. It is a skill, and so it does fall under resources and knowledge, but it's also a thing in and of itself that requires its own category at the same time. So using this prism, this is what we're going to be doing every single time we meet, once a fortnight. We're going to be going through these resources and going through particular knowledge. Lots of people have misconceptions about their own goals. Never mind, for example, Islam or Sharia. They have misconceptions about their own goals. They think they want something when in truth it's not what they want. And it's one of the most liberating things to find out that the goal you were chasing after, you no longer have to chase after because you don't want it. So you just save yourself 3, 4, 5 years of your life, all that beating yourself up, etc. When it comes to motivation, a lot of people think motivation, that's all that people need. If you're motivated enough, you're going to do it. Well, that's also not true. And at the same time, there are ways to motivate yourself that work, and there are ways to motivate yourself that don't. In the 1% Club, we're going to be covering a lot of heuristics. Heuristics are kind of rules of thumb that you use to operate yourself and to operate your life. And one of those heuristics is that if if the things that you need in your life in order to be successful require huge amounts of effort, then you're doing it wrong. And so motivation, a lot of people overdo it with motivation. You can see them like shaking and dare I say writhing with motivation, right? But really, it's overkill. And if you really need to get yourself that motivated in order to do something, then there is a resource and there's knowledge that's missing. So these three things do come hand in hand. Now I teach this in the Unshackled program, so and it's not taught in 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 minutes. It's taught in a lot longer. So I'm giving you here a really summarized version of what it is. But the reason why I'm doing this is just to let you know that when we go into Sharia, for example, when we study Sharia, well, there's things that you need to know, and there are things that you need to unknow and to see it in a different light. But then you also need to know the timing of when these things are implemented, because a lot of people don't understand that. Every ruling has a timing for which it is to be implemented. And then there's motivation, so lots of people know that they're supposed to be doing something, but they don't do it. So we'll be fixing that. When it comes to martial arts, the things that I'm going to be teaching you are going to primarily, because it's not primarily about self-defense for me, though you'll learn that as a secondary, outcome. But primarily for me, is just getting you to cut that time between, that lag between decision and between action. And once you've done that, you become whole again within your body. The other thing is, when it comes to martial arts, the other aspect of it is going to be resources and knowledge and skills. Lots of people don't understand how their body works. They have no idea. And so in order to do a simple movement, they're actually exerting far more effort than what is needed. They're using muscles that don't need to be used, and they're usually using the wrong muscles. And these muscles, it's not just that, but these muscles then kind of collide with each other because they're going in opposite directions, and they create resistance for the individual. The martial arts that I'm going to be teaching you, someone who's 80 years old is, can be just as good as someone who's 30 or 35. Whereas with things like karate or other things, the older you get, the more your muscles, get weaker, and so therefore, those things have a limit. There's a time limit with those. People don't always get as good, or they get worse as they get older. But with what I'm going to be teaching you, it has nothing to do with the muscle. It's got to do with the mechanics and the internal bodywork, the internal dynamics of your body. And so therefore, the older you get, the better you get with that. Now, with regards to goals and motivation, the goals coaching that we're going to be doing, it's going to be every 2 weeks, and it's going to be professional, personal enhancement, professional, coaching with regards to your goal. There's a lot more to say. I don't want to say much more than that, because I think that if anyone's interested, they can ask me a question and we can take it further. But the final thing I want to say is that some people can't make it to either Birmingham, London, or Edinburgh. Either they live in other parts of the UK and it's difficult for them, or whatever, or they're not even in the UK. There's an online version, and there will be a live section to it, which is going to be a teleseminar where we go through your goals, and you get exactly the same experience. And the things that are taught will be recorded, and you'll have access to them as well. So I really look forward to seeing you in the 1% Club. Please do not delay. Make sure that you sign up as soon as you can. And I hope to see you soon. Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.